down.
In comes Ian Stringer to bat, the man who forced the pace in the previous game by batting in the winning runs. He batted in 2 runs. Stringer against Pete Sandman, who shakes off one signal from his catcher, throws the pitch.
Oh, now, Stringer thought that was high, but even then, if they gave him the same one again and he knew it was coming, it'd be something. Strings has left off the gloves. I guess he knows he's on a winner at the moment.
Stringer at bat. On first base is Elliott. At third base is Mark Sorensen for New Zealand. There are no outs. We're in the top half of the first. Ball high and outside.
What Stringer has done today, which is quite outstanding, is that as a power batter, he's shown that if you don't throw a strike, he will walk. So it means you have to throw a strike into the DH, which gives him a big advantage, really.
DH, meaning he's the designated hitter for New Zealand. And
that's good. That's good. Here comes Sorensen. Max is safe at second. Stringer does a perfect job of DHing. Once again, now we're seeing that modern softball is not so much hitting the ball out as hitting the ball down. You see, it's slammed into the hard surface, bounces completely over shortstop, and it's 1-0. A great start for New Zealand.
Now, Pete Sandman, doing the pitching for this Penn Corp team, really has had a disastrous start. There are still no outs. 1 run has scored. Elliott is safe at second base. Stringer safe at first base. 1-0 the score, and one wonders how long he will stay in there, or whether or not the coach will just say, well, you've got yourself into this problem area. You can dig yourself out of it.
Well, there he is. Now, he is the U.S. #1 at the moment. He's on the All-American team, the Pan Am team. So, as Gary said, he's had a nightmare of a start.
Murray McLean, the batter.
Wild pitch. They're safe now on second and third. They may even have a look at a walk now. Come on!
Murray McLean at bat with runners on third and second for New Zealand. They have scored 1 run. The details of that in just a moment, but no outs. Strike. Struck him out, so the first strikeout of the game is recorded by Pete Sandman. Now let's have a look at how the run scored, because this is Stringer at bat and he bubbles it into the dirt. It bounces over at third base, and John Iggy had no chance of getting it. There's the run that crosses home plate, and that made it 1-0. Nicely batted in by Stringer. Elliott is now safe at third base. Stringer is at second base. The batter in is Michael Nichols, who is really in the dungeon in terms of batting the ball. Let's see whether or not he can carry on the tradition that he left off last season, which he has not yet picked up for the summer of 87-88.
And once again, it was a great start by Sorensen. He had a sensational hit which had opened up this innings, and it's just has carried on from there. But New Zealand were like a coiled spring. You knew it was going to happen, and boy, has it happened in this innings.
Outside for ball 1. Makes it ball 1, strike 1. Still runners on third and second, and New Zealand looking good, and this is the top half of the first innings. A bit of bonus coverage here of the softball, while we'll be going back to Trentham in just a little while.
We could see another run here, though. Inside, and it's a ball. It's a pass ball. These Americans are making errors now, something they haven't seen for a month. The pressure is really on. Max Elliott came screaming down from third base. As we see here, the ball is dropped by the catcher, spins away. Here comes Max, screaming in, does a dive. Try.
Well, a happy-looking New Zealand dugout there. New Zealand 2, Penn Corp 0.
2-1.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count on Nichols.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Still Michael Nichols at bat. 2 runs have scored. Inside. Ball 2, strike 1. Ball 3, strike 1. Foul ball from Nichols, at least seeing the ball. Michael Nichols.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Hold for.
Ball, he gets a walk, so runners on first and third. And still just the 1 out, and that was Murray McLean. And Frisky on the bases as Nichols, saying, have a go at me.
Love it.
What's this for? Now, Stringer has just come in to score the run, and I don't know why. Well, maybe he was called an illegal pitch by the umpire, but Stringer certainly came home, touched home plate.
Now, Ian Stringer has come home to make it 3-0.
Well, an illegal pitch was called, so just what the misdemeanor was out there by the pitcher, I don't know. I think it must have been the first base umpire who called an illegal pitch.
Oh.
But then I see. But yeah, I'll explain that in just a moment. Swing and a miss from Dave Workman. Mike Nichols, meanwhile, is safe at first base. Now, it would have been an illegal pitch on the last pitch that was thrown to Michael Nichols. So Nichols safe on first base. Stringer has scored the run to give them a 3-run lead. Oh, what a great hit. There's a fine hit off the bat of Dave Workman. They bobble it in the infield. A bit of drama on the bases here. They'll be watching Nichols at home to make sure they don't allow him to score. But not good running by Dave Workman, who really got caught in the hot spot. They got him in the rundown, as they call it. So Workman is out. Let's have another look. He does it nicely with the bat to advance the runner to second, and there you see him going to third as the ball is bobbled. But now the action starts in the infield. It is worked from left outfield by Bob Blakely, and now in the rundown is Workman, and there he is tagged out. Meanwhile, they've made sure that Nichols doesn't go home as well. So 2 outs, but meanwhile Nichols goes to third base. Workman is out. Fred WYATT is the batter. Not good play by Workman, particularly as he had just done the job with the bat marsh.
Well, actually, when he sees it on the replay, he'll feel very bad, because I think if he'd run straight at the guy just before he got the ball, he would have hit him, which you always look for if you are in a rundown. You're safe if you can hit a guy in the base path without the ball, and I think that was the chance there with Dave. But what I love it, because it shows that we're prepared to take risks. We were already up by 3 runs, so let's risk it. That was about the 3rd error that we've seen off this Yankee side at the moment, so keeping the pressure on. I like it.
3 runs scored by New Zealand. Fred WYATT at bat. Michael Nichols safe at third base.
All we haven't seen is the big hit, though. We haven't seen one go over the fence yet, and the way New Zealand is going, I don't think it's too far away. Now, here comes this umpire. I really don't like this. What do you think, Gary?
Well, I think that the umpires in general are trying to get into the act too much. Because, I mean, they're talking about illegal pitches. I mean, he probably is doing something which is a few centimetres guilty. Now, you know, you can't go on witch hunts with these guys play by American rules. We're supposed to play by ASA rules. I believe there's got to be a little bit of latitude shown.
Well, I mean, especially when we're up by 3 runs, the least we can do is be hospitable.
A couple of warm-up pitches for Pete Sandman, who will be a very dejected man, wearing number 13. Wearing number 13, unlucky for some, and certainly unlucky for Pete Sandman today. He surrendered 3 runs. He's in trouble with the umpires, and now all is ready again.
Michael Nichols out at two there.
See just what is wrong with his feet, and I can't see too much wrong there. Why?
Get your pitch ready, get your pitch ready.
Makes it ball 2, strike 2.
Okay, let's do something really brave here. Now, we're going to stay on his feet. Maybe even in a little more on that shot if we could. Okay, so we can see the ball leave his hand. Watch his feet. Now, that's what it's all about. It's that little hop. There we go. They'll get him at 1. Just out. Retires the side.
3-0 to New Zealand over Penn Corp in the second of the doubleheader. The run scored by Mark Sorensen, Max Elliott and Ian Stringer. New Zealand, after one turn at bat, lead by 3 runs to 0.
Defensive lineup for New Zealand in this game in right field will be Grant Thompson, at centre field Mike Nichols, left fielder Fred Wyatt, shortstop Terry Johansson, third base Dave Brown, second base Max Elliott, first base Mo McLean, doing the catching Mark Sorensen, and the pitching Graham Robertson. For the Penn Corp team from the USA in the bottom of the first inning. The center fielder for John Beck, second baseman Dan Hessler.
Brad Dodge up to bat as the first batter in the Penn Corp first turn at bat. Robertson the pitch. Ball outside, ball 1. Graham Robertson pitching for New Zealand, the first time he's been in the New Zealand uniform this season. And really, I guess you'd have to be saying that he is one of the certainties to go to the World Championships.
Ooh, wait a minute. I don't know if he's a certainty, but he certainly is on the short list. That's out of play. Oh, there's Max Elliott at second base now.
Yeah.
He does move around a bit, our Max, doesn't he?
Come on now.
1-1 to count on Brad Dodge.
Max Elliott, one of the more versatile softballers on the New Zealand scene at the moment. Brad Dodge. The call is ball 1, strike 1. Bottom half of the first innings.
Oh, thank you very much, he said.
This is pretty easy.
Calm, cool, and collects him at 1.
Just have a look at this as it comes back to Robertson. That ball has a bit of fire on it. Has a look at Brad Dodge and says, oh, yeah, I'll take it down, I think.
Sorry, son, your history.
1 down. Now, you don't think that Robertson is an absolute certainty for this tour, Marshall? Let's get into a little argument on this one. I'd say go home now and start reading brochures about Canada.
Oh, yeah, I'd say he's very close, but then well, how would you feel if all of a sudden they made some decision that said that Meredith could go, or Schultz?
That will not happen. Dan Nessler goes for the bunt.
In fact, Gary, let's hear your 4 at the moment.
My 4 pitches would be Chubb Tangaroa, Graham Robertson. Ooh, that's a bad one. Chubb Tangaroa, Graham Robertson, Steve Jackson, and Michael White. Let's shut him up. Dan Nessler at bat. You change it. You change that pitching order for me. Then.
Well, there's a hit. That's clean and neat, right into right field. Up with it is Thompson. Safe on one. The Americans are not going to lay down. Here we see nice line shot, line drive. That's the way we used to hit the ball. Line shot right into right field.
Number 25, Graham Robertson, pitching for New Zealand, has surrendered one hit, has taken the first out of the game, which he did a few minutes ago, and now has to contend with Marty Kernahan at bat. One runner on the bases, New Zealand leading by 3 runs to 0.
And I think we're going to get a double play here somewhere. Whoop! Good catch from Sorensen. That ball was right down into the dirt. That was an ugly pitch. Really got away. I thought very low, very inside. Sorensen scoops it out of the dirt. There's young Mark. Just behind that posterior of the American.
Mark Kernahan. Marty Kernahan at bat. One runner on the bases.
Come on, Graham! Come on, Graham!
Swing and a miss.
Okay, I still feel a double play here at the moment. Got a very interesting looking infield. Workman at 3, Johansson at short, Elliott at 2, McLean at 1. I think it's going to go short, second 1.
Strike.
Then again, he might strike him out.
That's 1-2 now, the count from Marty Kernahan.
Robbie! Come on, Nobby. On you, Graham. Close up, come on out. On the roof. Hey, guys, go there. Hey, Nobby. Strike.
Right out, 2 down.
Good on you, Graham.
Come on, Bernie! Come on, Bernie!
Come on, Bernie.
Brings the bat on the inside on Bob Robertson.
Come on, here you go.
Randy Burnside is the batter for Penn Corp. Oh, that's a
Wild
bad pitch from Graham Robertson. He won't be happy with that. Sorensen chases it back to the net, but there's no way that Dan Nessler wasn't going to get to second base. Now a runner on 2. There are 2 outs. This is Randy Burnside at bat.
Well, he's not doing Sorensen any favors at all at the moment. There's Graham, because he is very, very fast. He has more speed than anyone else over here at the moment, with the exception of Schultz. Schultz actually, I think, is just a bit faster than Graham Robertson, but of the available pitchers.
Randy Burnside facing Graham Robertson. Pops it down into foul territory.
Count now, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Get him, man. Get him, Graham.
So Randy Burnside still staying in there. Ball 2, strike 1 the call. There are 2 outs. And still Penn Corp staying scoreless at the moment. Robertson ready for Burnside with 2 outs.
Get him, Nobby.
Fouled off down the right field line and into the bay.
That one might be down on the tide.
2-2.
2-2 the count on Burnside.
Ball 2, strike 2. 2 outs. Robertson getting the signal from Sorensen as to what pitch is being asked for. Should be caught. At shortstop, Kerry Johansson takes the out to make it 3 down. There's Robertson coming off, and he has done a pretty good job on the mound in that first innings. He is under a bit of an injury cloud at the moment because he damaged his back a couple of weeks ago. He said that a ball was hit more or less straight back at him, or just to his right, and the top half of his body turned, and his legs didn't, and he ricked his back, and so he's nursing a bit of an injury as Robertson.
After 1 complete innings, New Zealand leading 3 runs to 0. And leading off with it will be their shortstop, first batter will be right fielder Grant Thompson.
They've also got the age down of Rusty Hay, who's 59.
Come on, KJ, how's it going? Hey, we do. Kerry, come on, Kerry. And again, now, come on, now, let's go, Black. Come on, Black. Hey, we do. Come on, Kerry, Joe. Go, start us now, Kerry. Get into it now, Kerry. Come on, KJ. Run back, KJ.
Kerry Johansson, first batter of the second innings for New Zealand with the 3-0 lead that they enjoy. Johansson, such a very capable shortstop. How does he go with the bat? Strike one.
Come on now. Not your pitch, not your pitch. Here you go.
Well, yeah, he looks good at short, but he bats right-handed at the moment, and that is not in his favor at all. As we saw with Dean Rice there, having that left-handed slap bunt ability, because it's going to be down to one of those two, I think.
Come on, WYATT. Come on, Kerry, Joe. Come on now,
But he's a very good fielder, outstanding fielder, actually. He's in the John Joyce mold. I think that is fair to say.
Well, he moves a bit like John Joyce in the field too. It's the same fluid action. Ball one, strike two. Ball two. 2-2 the call. So a big job to be done by Pete Sandman, this man here pitching for the Penn Corp team.
Come on now. Come on, WYATT.
He hasn't been up to it so far. That's a good hit by Johansson. He gets back to ball solidly, but nicely taken out. Across at first base with the strong arm from third baseman John Iggy. One out.
See, now there's a classic example of it. I think if that young man was batting left-handed, he would have almost been safe then. I mean, it's really that meter or so that makes the difference between a hit. Now, by special request of several members of my family, Mr. Sandman, play us a tune.
Grant Thompson up to bat.
Sorry about that, everybody.
After Sinatra.
Come on, come on, help. Ball.
Ball outside. Still Grant Thompson.
Come on, Grant.
The bases are clear.
Ball two.
Ball.
Attaboy, Tomo, attaboy. Come on, WYATT. Here, go.
Now here's another batter who has the advantage of batting left-handed and could be the difference between being in the World Series or watching it on the TV from Christchurch. Because he fields well, but we have a lot of good outfielders, but the difference is he bats left-handed and he's capable of the slap hit. Oh, that hurt. That got his hand. That got his hand,
well,
or maybe even worse, his wrist.
There, and he has been too, Marshall, because, I mean, pitchers are there to throw strikes, not to hit the batters.
I hope everything's all right now. Ouch.
Yeah, I could feel that from here.
No, but it did hit the bat. The ball hit the bat.
What?
I think it probably did hit.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah. It's a foul. It's not, no.
Now, well, let's sort this out, because I thought that Thompson had been given. Now, we'll have another look at this, because the umpire, I think, had awarded him first base, because there it comes, and the umpire says the ball hit the bat. There's Thompson getting out of the way of the ball, or trying to.
Ouch.
And then crunching up, but the umpire said, no, it hit the bat first. We can't get the sound from the umpire at the moment, I think, because he's got his hand over it, so we can't hear it.
Look at that. He's not playing the game at all. Do you see the hand over the microphone?
Didn't come off the hand.
Well, I thought he was swinging.
Yeah.
I say he was swinging.
Yeah, he was swinging, but it certainly didn't hit his hand. It came off the bat.
The question.
Yeah, well, I couldn't see where it hit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw it. It came
I
off
saw
the
him
bat.
shaking his hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gone.
Bat is out. Bat is out. The ball hit the bat and it didn't hit his hand.
didn't hit his hand?
That's our judgment. Yep.
You believe it didn't hit his hand?
That's correct.
And you think he just acted like that?
No, I don't know why he did it.
Unbelievable.
I can only call what I can see.
Well, the umpire is saying there that the ball hit the bat and not his hand. Well, so what? Why is he out? Why
Because
is the
it's
batter
caught.
out?
Oh, no. Why is he out?
It's just a foul ball, or did it go into fair territory and then they got him at first?
Well, we would have to see the replay extended a bit there because obviously the ball wasn't caught by the catcher. If it's fouled off the bat and caught by the catcher, then you're out. Very interesting and a painful experience for Grant Thompson.
Strike!
2 outs now, and up the top of the order with Mark Sorensen batting. We might just have another look at that because it was a very interesting call.
Now, it's what happens after it hits everything. The umpires are saying that it hit the bat, went down in. Now, let's see. Is the ball going forward?
Strike
The
two.
batter's down. Let's see. He's down. The ball is obviously into fair ground, so maybe the catcher picked up the ball and tagged Grant, who's lying there in pain, and he's out.
Well, it was played by the infield across to take him out. Sorensen, meanwhile, at bat again, hammers the ball to shortstop. Kernahan with the out across to first base. And I've got to say, Marshall, that umpiring decision was wrong.
Well, as the umpire said, he said, I can only call what I see.
I didn't see it. So
And
I went with the sound. I didn't see it.
let's
Here it
listen
is.
to the conversation.
No, I don't see it that way.
John Joyce made the point to the umpire at the end of that play. He said, do you think that the batter, who was Grant Thompson, was just pretending to be hurt? Well, there wasn't any pretense there. He got hit by the ball all right. Never mind, it's all on again.
Yep,
The next
Gary.
inning's about to get underway.
Gary, interesting, isn't it? Because we've seen Americans in the past. We've had sides out here, especially with a leadoff batter, who have done a Hollywood, you know, who have sort of made out that they were hit with the ball. At least that was our view of it, seeing the replay. So it is not unheard of. You know, it's like diving out of a line out in Wales. It is something that can be done if you want to have a go as a player. You can pretend to be hit by the ball.
We have the Penn Corp in their second turn at bat. His right fielder, Bob Michelson. On third, the designated hitter, Penn Corp.
Bob Michelson, the first batter of the second effort by the Penn Corp team against Graham Robertson. Ball too high, ball one.
Come on, Graham. Come on, buddy.
Bob Michelson, who bats at number 4 for this American team, has ball 2, the call.
It is their leading home run hitter, but we haven't seen it so far. This man has not unleashed a home run against New Zealand anyway. Maybe in the week games he has.
Well, he doesn't have the batting stance of a top batter anyway. Have a look at him, Marshall, in the batter's box. He's not coiled up the way you see really good batters shape up.
Yes, no, actually it was Brad Dodge I was thinking of. No, you are absolutely right. He's not their top home run hitter. Good pitch right on the knees.
Ball 3, strike 1. He may not have a great batting stance, but he certainly has a good eye for the action.
Boy, did that get pounded into the turf.
Yeah.
3-2.
Every worm within 7 meters would
Yep.
have a headache.
Almost finished up in Beijing.
Now, if you go through, you'd end up in Scandinavia.
Oh, sorry. Foul ball.
Scott Peterson doing fielding.
Ball 3, strike 2. First batter of the second innings for Penn Corp. This is Bob Michelson. And that's Graham Robertson. Here's the batter's eye view. Won himself a walk, and nicely done too.
That could be the start of trouble right here in River City. This is not the way to start off an innings, Graham, and he knows it. That was very wild down in the dirt. He's thrown at least 4 or 5 down into the dirt there. One at least has gone through Sorensen. The others he's managed to grab, so he's combined with some excellent throwing. A very nasty inside drop that just seems to be slipping off the fingers at the moment. Now, this is interesting because this man had sustained an injury today. He got hit in the eye with a ball, and the doctor's advice was to actually rest this game, but he was extra keen to play, so there he is, the DH and the home run hitter, Danny Delarit.
Foul!
1-1 the count on below.
Give us a nice ground ball now, Nut.
As we see there, his left eye is more than half shut. Looks like he's, that's what I'm expecting to happen in the prize fight this afternoon to Larry Holmes, actually.
Well, closer to home, there are those that say you've had one eye shut for 30 years.
Strike.
Delarit
1-2.
with a swing and a miss.
That's my South Island eye.
Get stronger, Nobby. Hand there. Come on.
Strike out.
Good pitching. And here we see Graham Robertson doing his best to strike him out, and a lovely pitch. Had him completely fooled. The action of Graham is just amazing. He bends all the way down, like bowing, actually, like a very deep oriental bow, and then he springs back and just hurls the ball, and this is real speed. Watch this action now. He goes all the way down into a terrific bow. Maybe it's a sign of respect to the batter. Saying, excuse me, please, I'm going to strike you out.
Iggy, the batter. Foul. Ball 1, strike 1.
Now, I was going to say Iggy suddenly became a leading edge. Did you see that yesterday at the cricket, the description of the bat?
No.
No.
Oh, well, they had one of the Australian greats with a tiny little bat. And written in the middle of it was a little rectangle that said meat.
Foul.
Got a pitch from Robertson. Moves the count on to ball 2, strike 2. One runner on the bases, and that man is Bob Michelson. Walked, there he is, walking back to first base. Given the luxury of first base with 4 off-target pitches from Graham Robertson. Let's see how he deals with John Iggy.
Foul.
Another foul ball.
What a change in atmosphere, isn't it? I mean, that first game was so tense because New Zealand was not producing the goods. Suddenly, the dam opened, and now we're up by 3, and the Americans are struggling. They're making errors.
That's over the fence. Yep.
Foul.
Get through, man. Get up there, Finn. Get up there, Finn. Come on now.
John, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1-1.
Wow, that was lined down the right field line, but foul.
Ball 2, strike 2. 1 out. And 3 runs to New Zealand against the 0 posted by Penn Corp so far in the game.
It's a 0, it's a 0.
Come on, now, good picture here. Turn out. On over.
That's a hit right through. Good hustle from Thompson, though. Everybody stops in base, but runners on first and second.
And that was a pretty good effort also from Max Elliott trying to get hold of that ball. Watch the dive from Elliott. It comes off the base, and there's the dive as he tries to get it. He does everything in his power to get to it. Well attempted by Elliott. Meanwhile, the safe hit puts Iggy safe on first base. Michelson goes to second base. And a fine hit collected by Iggy. Up steps Bob Blakely.
Now, this is interesting, Gary. Let's see my theory here. I say this man is using a baseball swing in softball. He's a bit wristy, and I think he's pretty easy to strike out. Now, how's that for a gamble? Watch him get a hit.
Strike one.
See what I mean? He's so wristy.
Yeah, he coils up before he releases the swing, and it's a very fast swing and a very last-minute swing, too.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. See, you can do that at baseball because you have a nice long look at the ball, but at softball, you hardly get it's just a fraction of a second, and you have to decide.
Strike two.
This is a man who I think you can beat just on pure speed, and that's all he is doing at the moment, isn't he? There's no rise or drop. He's just blowing it by him.
And there's plenty of pace off the arm of Graham Robertson for New Zealand against Bob Blakely, the left outfielder for this American team.
Time.
Now, what's going on there?
Well, I think Blakely stepped out because he thought Robertson was taking too much time over the pitch.
Maybe he asked the umpire because it seemed as if the umpire had called it. That's why I had queried it. Yes, I would have had this guy doing a bunt more than I would hitting it anyway. It's not the time. That's hit down into the dirt. See if they get the two. No, just the one out. Good work by Max Elliott there. Geez, classy. He looks like he had a lot of time there, and he didn't really. Watch this. Watch this. Now, the ball is hit down into the ground. Now, watch the release of Elliott. He catches it, and it's gone. Straight over his head, and it's gone with a flick. Attempt at the... There is Max.
Two gone.
He's a real hustler, Marshall. He doesn't let anything go by. He gives it 110% effort. He's a great worker for the team.
He's a pro, too. I think he's added an extra dimension into our softball. Here's Steve McGuire, another power batter. And they could use a big hit now. They have runners on first and third, but it's 2 outs. They could use a big hit now to get their adrenaline flowing again. And this might be the man to do it.
Ball one, strike one, the call. 2 outs.
Strike two.
Ooh, just caught that outside corner. Good pitch, the outswinger. Graham is very feared in the United States. In fact, he won the ASA Nationals this year against this team that's batting now. That's Graham Robertson on the mound. Beat this team in the final of their national this year. There's Graham. Very respected in the United States.
Yes, he has a disability. One leg is several centimetres shorter than the other, but my word, it's had no effect on his playing ability because he has been one of the great finds of New Zealand softball over the past 3 or 4 years.
Yes, from Oamaru, I'd say he would have done a lot of rowing as a young man. We all know who his dad is, was our rowing coach. I think he's in Australia now, isn't he, Rusty?
Yeah, which few people can work out the sense of.
Yes, quite.
Steve McGuire at bat. Runners on first and third. At first base is Bob Blakely. At third base, Bob Michelson. There are 2 outs and Steve McGuire at bat.
Right. The Americans need to score. There's another foul ball. He is seeing the ball, but they need a run here. They need to get back into this ball game.
Marshall, I don't want to be had up for treason or anything, but I'd like to see them score a run to snap the game back into a bit of action.
So would I. I mean, we're ahead by 3 at the moment. The crowd's going dead, and after that first win now, they're just expecting New Zealand to cruise. But these Americans don't lay down. They're a top pro side.
Ball 2, strike 2. 2 outs, 3 runs to New Zealand, 0 to Penn Corp from the USA.
Oh, got him looking. Just with pace, just sheer speed, then had fooled this man. Watch this now. Here's Graham with a big dip. Around he comes, and that ball is humming. Nothing on it. Great pitch.
Leading off New Zealand, their third turn at bat is the second baseman, MICHAELSON at deck, Ian Stringer.
Come on, Tex. Come on, Max. Come on, bud. Come on now. Sit down in front of me. Sit down in front. Come on now.
All right, Max Elliott to start it off here in the third. Fouls it back.
Get us going, Max. Come on up.
There's Max, the first American to wear the fern for New Zealand softball. Men, anyway. Good bunt. Oh, yeah, it's staying fair. Oh, he kicked it. Whoa, did he what? I guess he didn't. Let's see in that replay. Didn't you think that left toe came dangerously close to the ball?
Well,
I was watching it from up top here, and the catcher gets on top, and then see that? How he scuffed the thing?
no.
Oh, I think it's just
That's
sheer
your imagination.
No, sheer experience. He gave that ball a little help on its way.
Max Elliott stays in the batter's box.
Great bunt. He looks dangerous in there, Max, doesn't he?
Well, the thing about him, Marshall, is you never know what's going to happen next, because he's the sort of player that if there's nothing happening, he'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Come on, Taxi.
Ball outside. Now, Sandman's throwing a few wild ones here. You were saying before, Marshall, that he's highly rated in the USA. I don't rate him.
Well, I mean, he's their number one without the New Zealanders. He was on the Pan Am team this year, 87. So if he isn't one, he certainly is one of the top three. But he threw the final of the ASA this year, so he certainly is one of their top three anyway, Gary.
Ball three, strike two. Max Elliott at bat, the first batter of the innings for New Zealand's third turn at bat. Struck out.
Well, after we said all that about you, Max.
You do the big build-up, and this is what happens.
Yeah,
Swing and a miss.
there's no gratitude, is there? Right, here comes Ian Stringer. Now, here we go. Let's get a little excitement back in the game. And here's the man who can deliver it at any time. In fact, he's having a perfect day, as I recall. He's a couple of walks and a hit in the first game and a hit in this game.
Ball inside. And when things are going well for you, Marshall, often they snowball on each other and they finish up going even better. Let's see how Stringer handles Sandman.
Yep, well, it's the same if things are going bad, really. That's New Zealand were just down in a hole, really, the last few weeks, and suddenly that wonderful release in that last game, and now they're on a roll. Here's a high fly ball. The wind's got it. Gee, he hit that hard. It is a mile high, finally down into right field.
Then center right fielder, Bob Michaelson.
Here we see swings underneath it.
This is the first time he has gone out in 2 games. So he walked a couple of times, got a hit, then a hit in the first innings, and then at right field running in to take it was Bob Michaelson, makes it 2 outs. In comes Murray McLean, the third batter of the innings. He was struck out last time in. Let's see how he handles Sandman this time. Strike one. Nice breeze wafting across the lion red ballpark.
Come on, Mary.
Ball outside. Ball one, strike one, 2 outs, and Sandman having to get on with his work to keep the New Zealanders away from the action, and if he can get rid of this batter, and he has, that gets rid of the top of the order. Blakely takes the catch at left outfield, makes it 3 out. So the third turn at bat completed by the Americans. The New Zealanders about to have their third turn at bat. This is how the last out happened. Blakely moves under it. Takes a lot of time, makes the third out, and New Zealand 3, Penn Corp 0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Put a couple on the board. Straight. Come on. Let's go already. Let's go. Let's go away. Let's get a couple, make it interesting, huh?
Come on up. Keep it going, Nobby. Keep it going, Nobby. Come on, Dodger.
Leading up for Penn Corp in their third turn at bat.
Dodger.
Top of the order for Penn Corp with Brad Dodge up to bat. Robertson the pitcher.
Strike.
Strike two.
Bradley.
Right.
Two strikes.
Base runner, come on.
Foul.
That remains 1 and 2.
Come on, now, let's go. Good hustle, Davey. Come on, Davey. Let that infield work, Davey. Come on, Davey. Hi, Nobby. Come on. First down, Nobby. First down, Nobby.
Strike out.
Strike out for Brad Dodge.
Get down there, get down there.
Upright, well on.
One and one.
Come on, Nobby, how Nobby?
No, that's
Come
not.
on, hand up.
There's
bunt.
now.
Go, baby.
Oh, and an error. Why didn't Graham Thompson throw it? He's a little bit conservative out there in right field. He should have made the throw to one. Anyway, let's see this bunt. It's dropped down beautifully with a dead bat. Great bunt. No hope of getting him.
Come on, man,
there is Workman with a rugby pass into right field. And this is where we went a little conservative. He should have thrown that ball. Why in heavens? Unless he thought it would have hit the player. That's the only reason I think he might have held up.
Nice butt, Daniel. That boy. One down. Come on, here you go.
Up to bat. Marty Kernaghan.
Turn off.
Well, I think the Americans are going to score here. They're going to duck on the pond.
Inside, ball one.
Remember, these guys just don't lay down.
Come on, 39. Come on, Nobby, hand up.
That'll be double play. Is over to 2 and Beta 1. Great double play. Good work. Johansson to Elliott to McLean, and it's 3 down. Watch this. This is good softball. Lines the ball to shortstop Johansson. He's got a little flick over to Max Elliott, who does a beautiful back flip of his toe on second base, and they nail him at 2. Now, I think he is querying the thing at second base. I think what he's saying is that Max Elliott did not flick the bag, and he's an angry man. Oops. I saw that last thing, and it had to do with... Anyway, there's the line shot down there. Now, watch Max Elliott's feet. Over goes the ball. I think he just attempted with his foot to flick the corner of the bag. We can't tell from here. The coach is adamant, I think, that he missed the bag.
Sandman has faced 30 batters, conceded 1 goal, 3 hits, and taken 2 strikeouts while allowing 3 runs. For the line with New Zealand team, Brian Robertson has faced 12 batters, given up 2 hits, allowed 1 goal, taken 4 strikeouts, and conceded no runs.
Hey, Freddie, come on, Freddie. Come on, Freddie. Hey, Fearless, one out. Come on, buddy. Come on now. Come on, Freddie. Bring him down, Freddie. Come on now. Come on, Fearless, one out. Come on, Freddie. Stay tight.
Yeah, I've got him on.
Keep it tight now. Come on, 2, 3. Come on, bud. Hey, Freddie. Hey, Freddie. Got a pace. Good pace.
For the line. Gets hold of one, but does win. Hold him back. Let's make him celebrate. Sorry.
Come on, up. Come on, Freddie.
All right, let's get the run. Make it put him in the strike zone. Come on, Orange, let's go. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Stand around. Here we go.
So
Your
Marshall will call that. I'll explain what's happened so far. Marshall will call it, and I'll do a quick wrap.
Stand on that ball, Freddie. Cut it down to 15 minutes now, no? Come on, man. Come on. Here you go, Nobby. Come on, up.
Out.
So Johansson takes the ball. We have one side, one down.
Peter Graham.
Come on, guys.
Grab by Michael Senior on the better Tony DeLorean.
Come on, Bobby. Bobby.
That's it. Well done.
Come on, man. Here you go, Nobby.
3 runs to 0 the scoreline, with New Zealand well in front. Those runs established right at the beginning of the game, being scored by Mark Sorensen, Max Elliott and Ian Stringer. And my word, did they score them very well, and it looked as though the New Zealanders might jump to an even bigger lead. But since then the action has largely come to a halt, and there's been a bit of a procession of 3 up and 3 down, except for one innings when New Zealand pulled off a very, very good double play. Now, Marshall Seifert, you can describe it because it was a fine bit of action.
Wait a minute, hold it. That ball is going. It is up against the fence. Here's Thompson's got it, lines it in. These Americans do not lay down. That was a very good hit. It was into the breeze. It was hard for Thompson out in right field there. It ended up against the fence, as we'll see here. And what had become a quiet ball game all of a sudden erupts again with a big hit.
Well, at 3 runs to 0, it looked as though New Zealand were in with a cruising victory at their disposal. But no, that fine hit that we just saw from Bob Michelson, who's been on the bases twice in this game, that has snapped a bit more action back into the game. So let's have another look at the hit that came from Michelson. And really did he whack that ball. Now, going back in right field territory was Grant Thompson, and some might say that he even should have caught it, but no, he couldn't get to it. It was lost in the sun. It was being waved around in the wind, and meanwhile some very good running from Michelson gets him to third base. So well played by Michelson, and suddenly the Americans look as though they could snap this game into a bit of action. Foul ball, with the batter in there being Danny Delarit, their designated hitter. Only takes part in the game with the bat. He sits in the dugout for the remainder of the game and really doing a very good job. Now, Delarit is the man who is suffering a bit of an injury. You have a look at his left eye, you'll see it's largely closed, certainly half shut, And they said to him, why don't you have a rest? And he said, no, let me out there to have a go at Robertson.
Yeah, the doctor advised him and said, look, mate, you know, that eye is not good. But he said, no, I'm playing. So there he is. But he obviously has a bad injury there on his left eye. But he's their home run batter. And as the cliche goes, if they ever had needed one, this is a good time. Struck him out, but good. Oh, no, safe. Now, that's what happens in the game. Great play by Sorensen. He was very calm. He didn't hurry the throw, but then it bounced off his elbow at first base. Just bad luck by New Zealand.
Righto, now let's have a look at an escape. Sorensen's glove. There's a runner on third base. There it is down. Sorensen looks around for it, holds the runner at 3, holds it, then gets it across for McLean to take the out at first base. But no, there was a bit of interference there. The ball bobbled around, so now we have a situation where there is a runner on third base, and that's Bob Michelson. Delaret, meanwhile, goes to the safety of first base following the error from the catcher Sorensen. But meanwhile, I mentioned a little while ago about the double play which was pulled off by the New Zealanders. Marshall, what a double play it was.
Oh, this was good. Now here's the pitch. It's Kernahan. He bangs it down in. Now there is Johansson at short, does the flip over to Max Elliott at 2, rifles the ball over to 1, and it was sweet. Good play. But all the action is on here now. There are runners on first and third. It's only 1 out. And we now have a ball game here.
Well, a home run ties it up. So there's the tying runner. It could be number 9 in there, and that's John Egie, who has already collected 1 hit in this game. And here's Egie with 1 from 1 hit from 1 turn at bat, batting 1,000, runners on first and third, 1 out. Ball inside. Runners on the bases are Danny Delaret, who we've seen earlier in this series, in fact last weekend, clipping one over the fence. Bob Michelson is there with also a hit, assisted by the New Zealand infield, and now John Egan.
There's a good hit, but he'll get it. Here comes a double play. 1, 2, thank you very much. A classy act. Young Johansson at shortstop says, sorry, fellas, but here's 2 for me. Let's see this line shot right back to Johansson. Picks the ball up very smoothly, steps on 2, and he beats him by 2 or 3 meters at first base. Good double play.
Well played, New Zealand, to get themselves out of a potential hole. Coach Walsh, number 19, they're laying the law down, saying we've got this game in a bit of a in the basket if we want to. But meanwhile, 3 runs to 0. New Zealand leading Penn Corp and really looking as though they have the game in their glove. If there's any further action, you'll certainly get it on Sport on 1.
Here we go. Come on, Orange. Come on, Orange.
Hey, come on, Kiri Joe. Come on, Kiri. Come on, Hep. Hi, Hep. Come on, KJ, let's go, Joey. What?
That was an excellent bunt. There he goes. A couple of double plays, and then he lays down this beautiful bunt, Johansson. He's playing for his place. They're having a powwow out there at the moment.
Here, boy, run, Hep. Hey, boy, where'd you? Come on now, put it down, put it down. Gary. Back where it came from, now.
Johansson, safe on 1. Brings the back, Grant Thompson on deck, Mark Sorensen.
Come on, Tomo. Come on now. Come on,
Look for another bunt here. Yep, good stop to get the double play. Ooh, he backed off. He knew Johansson was coming in. I tell you what, we used to call it footsteps in my day. Other descriptions would be cowardice. Watch this at second base. Okay, there he is, and he says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Back right away.
Hey, Mike, come on, Brett. Come on, Peter. Come on, go, Brett. Hey, Brett, come on, Brett. Come on, there, Brett. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Come on, do a job, Brett. Come on out.
Sorensen just pops up to catch Stoger in shallow center left by Robertson. 2 down.
Come on, Max. Come on, Max.
Number box, Max Elliott.
Ready to be alive? Come on, Max. Come on, Max. Come on out. Down up, baby.
Donnie across the field as well. Elliott.
That's good.
Zero on the
Trigger half. Come on now. That was for TJ. What else? What? Come on, Bobby. Start it off. Good time. Go. Come on now.
One at a time, guys. One an inning.
Bobby. Put it on the board here. How about it?
Moving up for Penn Corp. Left fielder, BLAKLEY.
Bobby!
Come
on, Bobby. Come on, Bobby. Come on, man. Jump it.
inside, ball one.
Ball!
That's all.
Look, got it, baby. Bobby. Come on, Ed. No worries now, Nobby. Come on, Ed. Come on, Knock. Come on, Nobby. Come on, Ed. Get in here. Get in here. Come on, Greg. Try it. Shut. Come on, Blake. Come on, Blake. Come on, Bobby. Keep back. Come on, right here. Right here. No, come on, Nobby. Come on, Nobby. Go ahead. Bobby. Nobby. Put the smoke there, Nobby. Get it, babe. Get it past him now, Nob. Come on, Boogie.
Goes to bat. First baseman Steve McGuire on deck. Brad Dutch.
Strike.
Who's on strike out?
Come on, Nobby. Come on, Nob. Come up. Bring it up. Ah, Bob.
Inside low. Come on.
Hey, over here. Here we go. Come on, Nobby. Come on, fight. on, Grant. Come on, Boogeyman. Come on, Boogeyman. Keep going. Come on, Nobby. Started here, Boog.
Sandman has faced 20 batters, conceded 3 hits and 1 walk, taken 3 strikeouts, there's been 3 errors in the field, and has allowed 3 runs. Pitching for the Line New Zealand team, Robertson has faced 19 batters, conceded 1 walk and 3 hits, have taken 7 strikeouts, and allowed no runs. For New Zealand, the designated hitter, Ian Stringer.
Ball.
Up high, ball 1.
Spun out, Stick, run out. Hey, String, spun out. Come on, Ian, come on now, String. Hey, String.
3 miss, 1 run.
Hey, String. Come on, String, come on up. Oh, String, come on up. String.
Left field, so far 1.
Hey, boy, String. Come on, Mike. Good job, Snook. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Come on, Murray, come Murray! Come on, Muzza, come on, Muzza! Come, Murray, good come, Murray! Oh, Muzzy! Hey, Muzzy, come on now! Ball! Come on, Murray, come on, Murray! Come on, Muzz! Come on, Muzz, come on, Muzz up! Come on, Muzzy! Come on, Murray! Come on, Muzzy! Come on, Muzzy! Come on, Muzz! Come on, Muzzy! Come on, Muzzy! Come on, out! Get Eddie, Murray! Come on,
Oh, terrible error.
Well, the batting action continues, Marshall, and this time it's Murray McLean doing the damage with the bat.
Yeah, there we see a line shot, and here we see yet another error by these Americans. Another guy boots the ball. In fact, that's a classic boot of the ball. That's where the saying comes from. He kicked it. Now, There's Ian Stringer saying something to McLean. I think he's saying, well done, mate. What's the weather like in Canada?
Nap time, Mike! Come on, Peter. Come on, Pete. Come, Peter.
On the box, Mike Nichols.
Come on, Knuckles. Come on, Mike. Peter. Mike, next.
No outs. 2 runners on the bases. Michael Nichols at bat.
Come on, help. Hey, next. Hey, next. Come on, there you go. Come on, Nichols. Come on, next. Come on, Pete. Come on. Ball. Peter, come, Peter. Peter, come, bud. Come now. Come on now, next. Come now. Come on, next. 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 Come on.
Oh,
Come, Michael. Come, Mike. Come, bud. Ball.
Inside.
Next to the boy. Get a good
To the one strike count on Nichols, 1 down. He's dealing with runners at 2 and 3.
Come on now. Dennis, looks back. Come on, next. Come on, next. Hey, next. Come on, next. Come on, now, Nico. Come on, Mike. Come on. Come on, next. Strike.
oh, no way was that a strike.
3-2.
Come on now.
Hard luck, Mike Nichols, as if things weren't going bad enough.
Get a jump, Lou. Keep an eye on him. You're not doing nothing
I
else.
just cannot believe the call from the umpire there. Nichols is very, very angry.
Come on, next. Come on, now. Come on, Nichols. Make it be there next. Come on now. Not good enough to beat him next. Come on. Come on, next. Come on, Nicky. Come on, next. Get him, Mike. Come on.
Good hit. That's a line shot. 1 run in. Make that 2. Once again, bobbled in outfield, thrown wildly into the infield. That center fielder is really angry at himself, Scott Peterson, and I don't blame him. It's Brad Dodge out there in center field.
Well, Marshall Nichols was really due for this hit, and look how he clobbered it right through out to centre outfield, and very well batted. It gets errored in the outfield, allows first of all Ian Stringer to score, then Murray McLean. Nichols, meanwhile, is safe on first base as the ball bobbles around further, but now 5-0 to New Zealand, and New Zealand will not be caught in this one.
Come on, Pedro. Come on, David.
Inside, 4-1 by Wilson.
Come on, Davey! Hey, work it. Come on, work. Keep at it now. Come on, work. Come on, work. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey.
Service, 1-1.
Come on, Davey. Come on, David. Hey, now, Dave. Hey, now, hey, well, Davey. Right.
Here's 1-2.
Come on, Davey. Come on, Pete. Come on. Come on, Davey, work. You can do it now. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey. Hey, work it. Come on, Davey. So you can. Come on, work. Davey, Davey. You will now work it. Come on, Davey. Hey.
Inside, 2-2.
2-2. Well, boy, 2-1. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey. Come on, Davey, work. Come on, Davey, work. Come on, Pete. Come on, work. Come on, work. Time.
Strike out. 1 down.
1 out here
Mr.
now.
Back, 39. On both cage on
Come on, Fred. Fred. Hey, Phyllis, come on, Freddie. Come on, Peter, come, bud. Come on, Fred. Come on now, Freddie. Right. Right up, boy. Right away to hit her up, Peter. Hey, Freddie. Come on, Phyllis. Come on, Freddie. Come on, Fred. Come on, Freddie. Come on, bud. Come on now, Freddie. Come on now. Strike 2. See him hit it, Fred. See him hit it now. Come on, Freddie. Come on, Freddie. Come on, Ruby! Blakely, you like it now, Freddie. Come on now. Come on now, Ruby, hold up. Come on, Freddie. Come on, Freddie.
Oh no! How silly! Oh.
Hit the ball, Nets. Hit the ball, Nets. Hit the boys. Put some runs out there.
The old Deke play. That really looked good on TV. Oh boy.
Here we go. Come out now.
Deek 3, Deek 5. Oh, we were yelling. Me and Zed, yeah, both yelling. Both yelling.
Just pull the head out of the umbrella. Turn your back side, Pete. Hang on. Hang on, Pete.
Get her hat.
Hey, let's do it here. Come on now.
Davey, get ready now.
Foul.
On deck, Randy Burnside.
Tag him with one right at the end.
Good luck. Come on, pick up out there.
Pink one.
Come on, Blake. Here we go. Come on, Graham. Come on now. Come on up.
Bravo. One strike. Bravo. 1-1.
Come on, Graham. Come on, buddy. Come on, Nobby. Come on now, Graham. Come on, Nobby. Good card, Nobby. Good card, Nobby. Here it is. Here we go. Got room.
Brennan pops it up. Johansson takes the out. 2 down.
Bernie.
Robertson getting Randy Burnside to run that one out. Former teammates have nailed that. After 6 complete innings, New Zealand lead 5 runs to 0. Pitching statistics. Sandman for Penn Corp has faced 26 batters, allowed 6 hits and 1 walk, taken 5 strikeouts, and there have been 4 errors committed in the field, allowing 5 runs. And for the Line Red New Zealand team, Robertson has faced 22 batters, conceded 3 hits and 1 walk, and taken 7 strikeouts, allowing no runs. Shortstop Johansson on both right fielder Grant Thompson. Up high, ball one. That's out of there.
Kerry, come on, Kate, come on now. Hey, we don't, come on out.
One on the count on Johansson.
Come on, Kate, come out. Come on, Kerry. Come on, Kerry, Joe. Come on, Kerry. Come on, out.
Outside, 2-1.
Come on, Kerry. Come on,
Hey,
KJ.
2-2.
Hey, up the middle, KJ. Spin him around up there now. Here we go now. Hi, KJ.
Strike out for Johansson, 1 down.
Here we go.
That's the back, Grant Thompson on deck, Mark Stone.
Come on, Grady. Come on now. Come on, Tomo.
Takes the outside corner. Strike one.
Come on, Kerry, Joe.
Up high, 1-1.
Come on, Grant. Come on, Tomo. Come on, Tomo. Come on, Tomo.
Picks up for 1 hopper, across to the wall, 2 down.
Come on now. Come on, Brutus. Come on, Brutus. Hey, Brett, come on, mate. Come on, Brutus. Come on, Mark, now. Come on, bud. Come on, Brutus.
Inside,
Good
ball
boy,
1.
Mark. Come on, Brutus. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark. Come on, bud. Come on, Brutus. Come on, Brutus. Come on, Brutus.
Inside.
Come on, Mark. Good boy, Mark. Get 2, bro. Come on, Brutus. Come on, now. Come on, Brutus. Come on, now. Come on, 1-8. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark.
Johansson gets under it. Side away. Just like to remind everyone that part of the Winfield Series has been the presentation of the Player of the Game Awards, and these will take place at the conclusion of this game out on the diamond. the ball. That's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 grounds, the bottom of the 7th.
Come on, Graham. Come on, you, Graham. Come on now. Come on, Graham. Come on, Nobby.
Outside, 2 and 2.
Come on, Nobby. Come on, Nobby. Come on, Graham. Come on, Graham. Come on, Nobby. Go up there, Nobby. Come on now. Come on, Graham. Here we go.
Foul out.
Damn! Ain't gonna get you now. Come on, Johnny. Go on, Maxie.
Come on, Nobby. Come on, up.
Down 2-2 on John Eady.
Come on, Nobby. Come on, Graham. Come on now. Come on, Nobby.
Come, big guy.
Come on, Nobby. Come on, Nobby.
Strike out, a Mexico game. And we're running over the next 5 runs from there. Thank you, Penn Corp, from New Zealand. And thank you, Winfield, for a great day, Saturday. We'd just like to ask those people to remain. They'll do the play of the day presentations very, very shortly. Those presentations, courtesy of Winfield, the sponsors of the International Series.